Good morning. So, meditation. It's meditation time. It's the best time to meditate is right at the top of the morning before you started getting really busy and life starts getting really noisy and your emails and the phone starts and the whole bit. So, let's sit together. I actually, right now, am going to meditate in my bedroom, and I usually don't. I usually meditate in my space in my office. And there's a plaque in my bedroom that's perfect. I just looked over at it, and I'll read it to you. Make time for the quiet moments as God whispers and the world is loud. So let's meditate with that in mind. That your meditation is simply a little timeout for you. It's a little mini break before daybreak really begins and all the dynamic energy that goes with it. So let's just start by exhaling. Open your mouth wide, move it all through. And let's begin again with an inhale. And please hold it. And now open your mouth and move it all through. Slow, long exhalation. And let's take your head and turn your head to the right. Move your shoulders back. See what you see as you slowly turn your head over to the left shoulder. Tilt your gaze toward the ceiling. Press your chin towards your chest. Take your hands to the back of your head, okay? And with both palms supporting the back of the skull, push your head into your hands. And release. Take your head over to the right shoulder. On a breath in. Exhale that stretch. Move your chin towards your chest and down. And slow circle over to the left shoulder. Inhale to get length through the right side of your neck. Exhale, let go. Please take your hands, the pads of your fingers, bring them up to your face, and just give yourself a little facial massage for a moment. There's a method to my madness, and what I'm doing is I'm just getting you into your body. If I can get you into your body, even just with some simple stretches and little mini massaging and exhales, and bring those exhales down to your lower lungs, then you're going to be able to perhaps sit a little more comfortably. Massage out your jaw. We hold so much tension in the jaw. Often we hold a lot of tension in the jaw because we don't always express what we need to or want to. So if you have a lot of stuff to express that you haven't been, and you typically hold it in, write it out on paper. If you have something to say to someone, write it out on paper. You don't even need to send it. But it's a matter of moving the expression out. Move the expression out. Just so you have a little more freedom inside your, like inside your emotional closet. Okay? And so you're just massaging. And just give yourself a little mini massage in your neck. And get a feel. Get a feel for where your hands want to go. Notice how your hands have intelligent, that as soon as you feel with your fingertips those areas of physical tension, you'll realize, wow, my body really has this wisdom. My body really has this knowing. Whereas if I just said, sit with your hands at your sides, and I said, think about where you might be tense in your neck, you'd be all over the place. The body says, let me break it down for you. I know. So massage out that space. We hold so much tension. If you breathe pretty short and shallow, if you have a lot of tension, a lot of anxiety, if you're depressed, if you're very tired, your breath is very short and shallow. And when you kind of hold your breath without realizing it, which is what we all do in stressful and tense situations, our upper chest gets tight, our upper back, our neck, our shoulders. So this is a great way to just start to give the body a little love. And circulation, blood flow is good. Bring all 10 fingertips together. Exhale out. If you're somebody that happens to struggle with anxiety, I'd like you to keep your eyes open. If you're pretty comfortable in meditation, or if you've meditated with another video of mine before, you can feel free to close your eyes and direct all your focus into the center of your forehead and beam it like it was a headlight. I did say headlight, not head lice. Beam your headlight right down to your thumbs. But if you need to keep your eyes open, that's really, really smart. Sometimes it's just too much to close our eyes. We'll go too internal. So just stare at your thumbs. The thumb tips are physically touching. There's no force or no excessive force. You just bring them together. And you just start feeling the thumb tips. The thumbs are part of the body. They're not part of your thoughts. You feel the thumbs, and it'll give that message to your brain. Oh, I know it. I know they're touching because I feel it. So it's not about like receiving that knowing because your physical eyes are looking at your thumbs. It's about the feeling. That's how you know. That's why it's so good to meditate in the morning, because our mind, our thoughts are quiet. It's like the machine for our head isn't up and running yet. Feel your thumb tips touching. Here's another trick. Focusing on the breathing will allow your attention to go inward into yourself. Focusing on your breathing will allow you to be in the moment of physically feeling your thumbs. Keep allowing the physical feeling of the thumbs to keep speaking to you, to keep showing up for you. You'll have the rest of the day to think anyway, you know. Give your mind a rest. Thumb tips are physically touching. The power of meditation is when you can tune in to what's happening in this moment, not what's happening with the storyline in your head, the ongoing saga of your mental merry-go-round, but what's happening in this now moment. Thumb tips are physically touching. Let the feeling of the thumb tips physically touching to slice through the excess thoughts. The thoughts that just stress you out, make your stomach nervous, or make your chest tight, or, with worry. Thumb tips are physically touching. Keep listening to my voice. Keep guiding you back to thumb tips touching. We're so established and acquainted with the relationship of our own thoughts. Reacquaint to something else. Reacquaint to now. Thumb tips are physically touching right here, right now. It's almost relieving, you know. And if we start our day coming outside ourselves, outside of our thoughts, we can start our day by slicing through what's not happening right here, right now. We have an opportunity to strengthen that every time we sit down and meditate. We have an opportunity to strengthen and restore our mind. Thumb tips are touching. Move your sight onto your first fingers touching. Your eyes can be open or your eyes can be closed. Move your sight onto first fingers touching. Take in the quiet of the room you're in. Just observe it, just acknowledge it, and then let that be. So you can land in it, like your mind, an anxious mind, a troubled mind, a restless mind, struggles to be in the now moment, right? Be with me right here, right now. You're not alone. Acknowledge the sound of my voice. Acknowledge any other sounds you hear in your space, not in the space of your thoughts. You can dive into all that later if you really want to. Dive into the sounds of the room you're in right here, right now. Beaming your focus onto index fingers touching. Be in the now with me in the room you're in. Hear the quiet. Be relieved at the quiet. Be relieved at the solitude. My voice is with you. Be relieved of the quiet because your mind is healed by it, or it could be healed by it. Some of us really struggle to be still. Some of us struggle with silence and quiet. As a result, we try to fill all the room up with all the noise we can. The truth is there are times when we need some noise and stimulation, for sure. And there are times when we need to be able to hear ourselves think. Not hear other people, but hear yourself. Direct your mind into your middle fingers touching and your physical eyes with it. And you have a choice if you want to open or close your eyes. Middle fingers are touching. Just feel your middle fingers touching. It's okay if your mind wanders off, by the way. It's all right. It's just practice. It's just practice. We do that, right? We wander off. We wander off in our thoughts. We wander off in a moment. We can be wanderers for many chapters of our own life. And the practice of meditation is so valuable, so powerful, because meditation is a tool that will empower you to stay on track with your path. Middle fingertips are touching. Meditation will slice through all the excess, all the chatter, all the opinions of others, all the demands and expectations for you from another. And just say, what do I want? Who am I? Where is my path? Bring your focus onto your third fingers touching. We turn down the TV. We turn down the volume of others. Not because we don't value their opinion or their information or their suggestion, but because we need to have some quiet to sort it out. We need to have a knowing of where do I begin And where do the opinions of others and the space for that end? Third, fingers are touching. Tune back into your breathing. Let out a complete and full exhalation. So take the breath to the bottom of the lungs. To me, what's really helped me a lot is to recognize something, that most of the thoughts I had, they are comprised and all made up of a personality self. And a personality self, long before yoga, was made up entirely by other people who thought they knew best for me, who thought they knew me, who had expectations, of who I shouldn't be, what I shouldn't do. And I was really tethered to the influence and the opinion of others because I didn't have a sense of self and I lacked self-esteem completely as a result. And so I never wanted to do anything that would make waves or rock the boat. Ironically, everything that I truly ended up becoming, everything I truly ended up feeling, everything I truly ended up knowing about myself made waves and rocked the boat. My point is this. The personality self is usually made up of all the people who told you this and all the people who told you that from a young age. And that might be you, or there might be much more to you. Meditation will help you slice through, sort of like a what's mine, that's mine, this is yours kind of thing. You separate it out. Bring your focus over to your pinky fingers touching. To have a clearer head, to have a stronger connection to ourselves at the beginning of a day. Makes for a much better day. And often we have to learn about ourselves by going into places and chapters of our life and tangling up with certain things or certain people and then figuring out, oh, this is actually who I'm not. So I look at that stuff like it's not something to judge. Those chapters of your life, they're not for you to judge. They helped you to get very key points of information and knowing about yourself. Pinky fingers touching. Feel your pinky fingers touching. But you're not just made up of a personality self. You're made up of more than that. And I call that your higher self. And that's not something I made up. You'll hear that term all the time. But this is my explanation to you of what that is. Your higher self is the part of you that knows things and that is things and came to this world to be thing and discover things that we're all going to be what would bring you into your true self and therefore your purpose. Bring your focus into all 10 of your fingertips touching. See, there is so much more to you than the head chatter. I figured out one day, like, wow, just sticking with my personality self is going to only have me be acquainted with myself on a very surface level, like on a much smaller platform. And I realized that people could only give me what they were given. And those people only had a certain platform. So, in following all that and adhering to it, because I was so desperate for the love and the approval and the acceptance, I one day realized there was so much more to me. And it was through yoga and through meditation that I figured that out. Walks in nature, walking on the ocean. And I figured out one day that all the things I fought about myself were actually really what I was told to fight, what I was taught to resist, what I was taught to ignore, what I was taught to shame, what I was taught to be critical of. And if I kept buying into all that, I would never know. To this day, I would never know that I was much more. Feel all 10 of your fingers touching. So we made space for you this morning to know that there's more. There's more than the thoughts you had about your grocery list or the thoughts you have about your budget. There's more than your anxiety. There's more than your anxious thoughts, your worried thoughts, stressful thoughts, your thoughts of the past. There's so much more to you. And I invite you to keep meditating with me so you can really access a bigger you and ride to a much higher elevator floor. All 10 of your fingers are touching. Today I want you to bring your palms to your forehead. Put them in the center of your forehead. Press in. And I want you to silently or out loud say to yourself, not what is wrong with me, but press in and ask the question, what is right and good and already there within me? And invite your higher self to guide you the rest of today. I hope that we'll sit together again. Namaste.